Today on Let's Talk Schools, you don't have to be physically in a classroom anymore. See why virtual learning options may be a good fit for your student. Hi, I'm Mike Looney, the Superintendent of Schools here in Fulton County. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Schools. Today we're going to be talking about a very exciting program that we have in Fulton available to our students, and that is virtual learning. So we have two very special guests. I'm going to start with our student. I want you to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, what grade you're in, and how you fit into this virtual learning environment.
So my name is Neil Lothe, and I am a junior at Innovation Academy. I'm in the IT pathway, taking computer science and cybersecurity courses, and I have been taking Fulton virtual courses since my elementary school, courses such as math, ELA, and now in high school I'm taking world language courses. Right now this year I'm taking Spanish 4 honors. And it's a lovely program.
Neil, it's so good to have you here. Let me ask you this. How did you decide that you wanted to pursue some virtual classes along with just regular traditional face-to-face classes?
Well, the virtual classes, it gives me a bit of flexibility in my schedule, and the learning with Fulton Virtual is great. The platform that we currently use is Canvas, and the assignments and the lessons that are on there, I enjoy studying through the platform. And basically Fulton Virtual, it allows me to have a little bit of extra time and sort of that self-pacing, which it's wonderful.
Good deal. I want to come back and ask you some questions, but we have another special guest, and you've been with Fulton Virtual almost since its inception.
Yes.
So introduce yourself to us.
Well, I'm Lisa Pizzuto. I'm currently the coordinator for virtual learning, and I work with Fulton Virtual as their direct coordinator. So yes, I've been with Fulton Virtual for 20 years. I started as an adjunct teacher. And then eventually, once it became a full-time, they took on a full-time staff. I was taught math, everything from Math 6 all the way through pre-calculus, and then I am now the coordinator.
Wow, so you've seen the virtual programming offerings and participation level change over the last 2 decades.
Very much so. I believe when we first started, we were less than 1,000, enrollments per term. And this term we're just under 6,000. 6,000
students taking individual courses, high school and et cetera, to pursue the areas of their interest and to get some core credits as well.
Oh, definitely. We offer everything middle and high school core courses, math, ELA, science, social studies, but we also offer a wide variety of world language courses. We offer Latin and German, which is not easily accessible to all students in their high school, so they come with us. This year we just brought on a full-time American Sign Language teacher who is fabulous, and definitely that has become one of our more popular world language courses, as well as Spanish and French, which are more traditional to the high school.
So if I were a novice to this work, or perhaps didn't know a lot about virtual, perhaps I might think that a virtual course is the student sitting at a computer, no interaction with with a teacher, no interaction with other students. Is that an accurate assumption, or?
Actually, I would say no, and I'm going to let Neil talk in a minute, but the objective behind our courses is to actually develop an engaging experience between the student and the teacher. So the student, once they're in the platform, does have the autonomy to work at their own pace, although there are suggested due dates and so forth. At the beginning of every course, our teachers do what's called a meet the teacher phone call with the family, so they engage the family in the process, kind of explain what they're going to experience and so forth. In addition to that, our students are required to meet with their teacher at least twice to do a discussion-based assessment where they kind of have an interaction where they kind of chat about the material that they're learning and make sure that they are learning at the level and have that understanding to progress. Plus, there's engagement through feedback. Some of it's through text, email, phone calls, and whenever a student needs any help, all they need to do is reach out and that teacher is right there. And in fact, I know myself as a teacher, I often felt like I got to know the students and the family much more than I did when I was in the brick and mortar building. But I think Neil has some experience with that as well.
So Neil, talk to us about your experience. How do you interact with your teachers and your classmates?
Mm-hmm. So definitely in my Spanish courses, we have like discussion assignments where we get to kind of interact with our classmates, and we all maybe, for example, tell us like a little bit more about yourself, and then we do those kind of assignments in Spanish, and it helps us get to know each other as classmates. And for getting to interact with the teachers, we have those discussion-based assessments, and they kind of we have questions that the teacher asks us, and it's kind of just like a conversation, and then the teacher can kind of understand how well we're doing in the course, and that way we also get to practice the material and make sure it's not just learning just through just a website. That way it's interactive.
Right. So I have a question for you. Let's assume that I'm a student or a parent of a student that's considering doing some virtual courses. What are some of the things that have surprised you about virtual learning? What are everything has pros and cons to it. What are some of the things that you say, this is really, really good, I really like this, and what are the things that are perhaps more challenging or surprising to you that, I wasn't quite ready for that? So just give us the skinny on it.
So some of the pros of Fulton Virtual are that, as I mentioned earlier, you have the flexibility and the self-pacing, but also you can accelerate through some of the courses, which is kind of the path that I took through math and ELA, which were some of the courses that I took throughout elementary school and middle school as well. And that kind of allows you to progress at your at like your own pace. And that was like really great for me. And some of the cons with Fulton Virtual, some of the lessons, they're not face to face. Which, I mean, if you have questions, obviously you can ask the teacher, but over text and stuff and things like that. But there's that kind of the teaching. Like the
immediacy.
The immediacy, it's not there.
Yeah. So it's kind of a delayed, you send a message to the teacher, or you might even leave a voicemail or a text message, and so they're delayed in getting a response back.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
And I think that delay only happens when we're talking about weekends. So one of the beauties of our courses is that you do have access to them 24/7. So let's say you've had a busy week, you're a football player, and you've had practice all week or games on Friday. So maybe you kind of put a little bit of that work off to the weekend. And so now you're trying to run through everything quickly. Obviously, in Fulton County, our teachers aren't accessible during the weekend, but as soon as they come in Monday morning, they respond to their students right away.
Right.
And I think that's just a learning curve sometimes when we take a virtual course. But once we are comfortable with, the fact that that teacher is going to get back to me, then I think that makes it a little easier, that transition.
So Neil, one of the things that you said is you used it to accelerate your learning, to move ahead. Do we also use it to catch students up if they have to repeat a course, they can take it virtually as well?
That is correct. Okay. So sometimes students have taken a course and were unsuccessful for a multiple of reasons. So if they choose, they can also retake the course through Fulton Virtual and receive full credit for that course. And a lot of our students during the summer often take advantage of that opportunity. We offer courses during the summer as well.
And do students that are behind or that need to repeat a course, do they have to take the entire course, or are they only taking the portions of the course that they weren't successful in?
So for Fulton Virtual, they are taking the whole course over again.
Good.
And this is really important because our courses are all NCAA certified. So if you took a course with us, you would have the seat time that's required, and that would count towards that NCAA accreditation. I also kind of oversee another program where that's not necessarily true, but that's a whole different conversation.
Right. So if we were to describe the typical student, it sounds to me that you have to be somewhat self-motivated as a student to log on, to do your coursework, to ask for help. Would you say that's a pretty accurate description of the type of student that would be most successful in a virtual course?
Yeah, you have to, definitely with the assignments, they are self-paced, so you do have to put that effort in and meet the deadlines. And yeah, you have to learn the stuff on your own, but definitely, you know, the teacher is there for that, that help if you need it.
Okay.
And I would also say we have some built-in protocols within our program where we don't let students get to a point where they're going to be unsuccessful.
Right.
So that keeping those students engaged in the virtual program is part of where I feel we have that great success.
So we don't just start the course and then see you in 9 weeks.
Yeah, no.
It's lots of check-ins along the way.
Lots of check-ins and a lot of interactions. We pride ourselves on keeping our students and our families engaged in our curriculum, and it kind of has paid off in just some of our results.
Right. Let me ask you about the educators that are teaching the courses. Mm-hmm. Are the educators that are teaching the virtual courses, are they Fulton County School teachers and employees? Or are we contracting? Or I know some people use things such as Florida Virtual and other mechanisms. What do we do?
So I'm very fortunate because I have a full-time staff of currently 24 teachers. And again, wide range electives in our core courses. In addition to that, as you know, we've grown tremendously. So our 24 teachers can't accommodate all of the students that want to take the courses. So we also use other Fulton County teachers in our district, and they're considered to be an adjunct teacher. So they do this as a supplement outside their full-time.
So if I were a high school student and I took a virtual Algebra 2 class, on my transcript, is it going to say Algebra 2 Fulton County Schools? Is going to be perceived as just a standard Algebra 2 course, or is there some differentiation that might cause concerns to anybody?
Okay, that's a great question. So it will say Fulton Virtual or FV and Algebra 1, but the course number that you'll receive, the only difference is it will indicate that it was an online course, but they're all fully accredited, all NCAA accredited, so they are accepted. And in fact, now we even offer a suite of AP courses.
Oh, wow.
And last year was the first year we offered the AP courses, and several of our students earned a 5. And
Which
were able
is as
to
high
take
as you can get on the AP exam.
And they were able to take that credit with them to college.
Well, I think the enrollment speaks for itself. We have students that are getting involved in the virtual programming. It seems to be meeting the needs of our community. We went from 1,000 to 6,000 plus students involved. Neil, let me ask you one final question. Would you do it all over again if you had to make the decision again? Just traditional school, brick and mortar, in a classroom with other students and a teacher live, face to face, or would you do what you're doing, kind of a hybrid approach of taking a course here or there virtually and traditional courses?
Yeah, I would actually love to do it again, the hybrid, because as I mentioned, the flexibility and kind of that self-pacing, it teaches you to to have that responsibility to log on, and also just all the overall benefits. You can accelerate. I took the U.S. history course over the summer, just this past summer, and that allowed me to open up my schedule this year for my cybersecurity course, which it's a lot of fun, and also it pretty much allows you to kind of opens up a lot more opportunities. So I would definitely do it again.
Thank y'all so much for coming. We could talk for hours about all the programming that we have here. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but thank you both for being here. Neil, best wishes as the school year progresses and as you enter your senior year next year. I know you'll do very well. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Let's Talk Schools. For more information about virtual course programming, please contact your school counselor or school administrators. They have all the information that you could possibly want. This is just one other way that Fulton County Schools is trying to lead the effort to make sure that we're adaptable and flexible and meet the needs of all of our families. Have a good day. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep the conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools. And as always, thank you so much for watching.